They say when a woman grows old, she becomes invisible. Her words carry less weight. Her sacrifices are forgotten. And her value is measured only by what she can no longer do. My daughter-in-law believed that too. And she made sure I knew it. My name is Amina. I am 64 years old. I spent most of my life raising my son alone after my husband passed away when he was just 11. Life was never kind to me, but I never complained. I worked as a tailor in people's homes during the day and stitched clothes at night in my small room. I skipped meals so my son could eat. I wore the same clothes for years so he could go to school with new ones. Everything I did was for him. So when he finally became successful and married, I thought my struggle was over. I believed I had earned peace. Instead, I earned humiliation. My son Rayan married Zoya 5 years ago. She came from a wealthy family, spoke fluent English, and had a modern way of thinking. At first, she treated me politely. She called me Amy with a sweet smile. She brought gifts. She asked about my health. But once the wedding photos faded and real life began, her respect slowly turned into irritation. She complained about how I cooked. She mocked how I dressed. She corrected how I spoke. "Why do you use so much oil?" she would say. "Why do you pray so long? Why do you sit like that? It looks old-fashioned." Small comments at first, then bigger ones. She rearranged the kitchen without asking me. She changed the house rules. She started managing the money and gave me a fixed amount like I was a child. I lived in the same house, but I felt like a stranger. What hurt the most was my son's silence. Whenever she spoke sharply to me, he looked away. Whenever she disrespected me, he pretended not to hear. I didn't fight, I didn't shout, I didn't complain. Because I believe patience was better than pride. But patience has a limit. One evening, I asked her something simple. "I want to visit my sister for a few days," I said softly. "She is sick and alone." Zoya laughed. "Visit," she said, "for how long?" "Maybe a week," I replied. She looked at me and smirked. "You won't last a week without us," she said. I blinked. "What do you mean?" She crossed her arms. "You don't know how to live alone, you don't know how to handle money, you don't know how the world works, you depend on us for everything." Then she said the sentence that shattered something inside me. "Without this house, you're nothing." My son said nothing. That silence hurt more than her words. That night I didn't cry. I thought. I thought about the past. About how this house was built from my savings. About how this business was created from my contacts. About how every success they enjoyed was built on my sacrifices. You see, their business looked like it belonged to my son and his wife. But in reality, I was the backbone. Years ago, when Rayan had no job, I sold my jewelry to help him start a small trading shop. I found suppliers through people I stitched clothes for. I kept the accounts because I knew numbers. I answered calls. I handled payments. I solved problems. Slowly, Zoya took the front seat. She handled customers. She managed social media. She made it look like she ran everything. But the real power stayed hidden with me. And she forgot that. So that night I made a decision. I would leave. Not because I was weak, but because I wanted them to feel my absence. The next morning I packed one small bag. No shouting. No explanation. No argument. I left a note on the table. "I will return in 1 week." And I walked out. My sister welcomed me with tears in her eyes. "You look tired," she said. "No," I replied, "I look free." For the first time in years, no one ordered me, no one insulted me, no one made me feel small. But I wasn't resting. I was watching. On the second day, I made my first call. To the main supplier. He trusted me because I had helped him when his business was struggling. "Pause all deliveries," I said calmly. "But madam, the shop." "They will contact you," I replied. "Tell them you are waiting for my signal." He agreed. Then I called the accountant. "Hold all payments," I told him. "Say the records need review." Then I called the biggest buyer. "Do not place new orders," I said. "I can no longer guarantee quality." He trusted my word. By the third day, the shop shelves were empty. By the fourth day, customers were angry. By the fifth day, money stopped flowing. On the sixth day, my phone rang. It was my son. "Amy," he said, his voice shaking. Something is wrong, the supplier stopped sending goods, the accountant is not responding, our buyer canceled orders. I stayed quiet. Then I said, strange, I thought Zoya managed everything. There was silence. On the seventh day, Zoya called. Her voice was no longer sharp. It was scared. Please come home, she said, we need you. I didn't reply immediately. I went back that evening. The house was quiet. No laughter. No confidence. Only fear. My son looked tired. Zoya looked pale. I didn't know, my son said, I didn't know you handled so much. Zoya avoided my eyes. I was wrong, she whispered. I could have insulted her. I could have reminded her of every cruel word she said. But I didn't. I said one sentence. You said I wouldn't last a week without you. But you didn't last a week without me. She cried. That night I changed everything. I took control of the business again. Not to destroy it, but to protect myself. I made clear rules. Respect was not optional. My role was official. Decisions were shared. And if anyone disrespected me again, I would walk away permanently. Zoya changed. Not because she became kind, but because she learned fear. Fear of losing what she depended on. And my son changed. Because he finally saw what his silence had done. Today I still live in that house. But I am no longer invisible. I am no longer nothing. And Zoya never says I am weak again. Because she learned something powerful. Never insult the person who built your world.